Hello, listeners. Welcome back to the Into the Ring Shame podcast. I'm your host, Kira Wackett, and today we're diving into one of the most powerful tools I teach in both clinical and coaching spaces, cognitive reframing, the practice of changing how we think about our experiences so we can reduce shame, anxiety, and stress in real time. Now, this isn't about faking positivity or pretending things are fine when they're not. It's about creating space between what happens to us and how we choose to interpret and respond to it. So let's dive in. Let me start with a question. Have you ever caught yourself walking into a meeting already irritated? Have you ever been lying in bed at night replaying an argument, convinced you should have said something different? What about labeling a task, event, or even an entire day as a complete waste of time? Me too. And when those thoughts spiral, what usually follows is a surge of tension, tightness in the chest, irritation, dread, even shame. Because we're not just reacting to the moment, we're reacting to the story we've already written about it. That's where cognitive reframing comes in. So let me give you an example. Say you're walking into a team meeting and you think, this is going to be pointless. No one listens. It's an absolute waste of time. What happens to your body, to your presence, to your energy? Now I want you to imagine walking into that same meeting, same people, same dynamic, but with the thought, this meeting might be repetitive, but it's a chance for me to clarify what I need from Fred. Or, I don't love this part of my job, and I can use this moment to practice speaking up. Those small changes in framing aren't about pretending everything is great. You didn't hear me go, this is amazing. Everybody needs more meetings. Instead, what I'm doing is I'm opening the door to possibility because shame thrives in absolutes. Nothing ever works. I always mess this up. They never care. Reframing says, hold on. Is that the whole truth? Is that true 100% of the time? Is everything really all or nothing? It interrupts the story just long enough for you to see yourself differently, to respond instead of react. Now, trust me, I've had to use this tool countless times in my life. Reframing the belief that every conversation has to go perfectly. Reframing the fear that asking for help means I'm weak. Reframing the guilt when something I planned doesn't turn out the way I hoped. That's not avoidance, that's resilience. So let's talk about why this works. Cognitive reframing is rooted in cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which teaches us that our thoughts directly influence our feelings and actions. So when we change how we think about something, we also change how we experience it. And no, this doesn't mean we're sugarcoating pain or bypassing hard things. It means we can learn to ask, what's another way to look at this? Is this thought helpful or just familiar? And what would I say to someone I love in this same situation? Because often the pain we feel isn't just from the situation, it's from the shame story that we've layered on top of it. So to start to make some changes, I want to give us 5 ways that we can begin to put cognitive reframing into practice today. First, we're going to notice the story that's playing in your head, those immediate reactions that come up when you're about to do something or you're thinking about something in front of you. Pause and ask, what am I telling myself right now? Now, the key here is to be curious, not critical. We're not assessing, we're not passing judgment on our story. We're just noticing what's coming up. Second, we're going to interrupt the shame spiral. So we're going to look for moments of all or nothing thinking. When we say things that are very black and white, always, never, should, and we're going to begin to challenge that to say, really? Is it always true? Are we really never allowed to do this? Should we? Is this actually how we feel? Third, we're going to name what's actually true. So again, if we're thinking about this meeting, you might not like it, and it's not entirely worthless. You might feel awkward. It doesn't mean you don't belong. 4, we're going to find just one new lens from which to view that situation or experience, even if it's neutral. So for example, this task is tedious and it's part of the process. One new frame, particularly if we ask ourselves to go neutral. Again, we're not swinging to the other side and trying to be overtly positive, but just something neutral can shift everything in our brain wiring. And then we're going to just practice and repeat. So like any skill, reframing gets easier the more you use it. So you're going to just notice, practice, and continue to ground yourself in curiosity over shame. The reality is, and I remind myself all the time, that all of those thoughts that I have, all of those negative interpretations could be true. And we can write a story and a case to prove them to be true. They're just not the only truth that exists. Now, you're not always going to get this right. You're still going to have anxious thoughts. You're still going to replay arguments or dread meetings. That's not failure. Again, this is just a human experience. But reframing gives you the power to catch those thoughts, to question them, soften them, and choose a different way forward. You're not at the mercy of your inner critic. You can learn to hear it and then respond from a place of self-trust and neutrality instead. Now, if this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear more about your story. How have you started noticing the stories that you tell yourself? Is there something that's working for you in this process of reframing? Now, if you're craving more support in your own shame resilience journey, make sure you check out the links in the show notes below. You can also, if you are ready to ask your own questions and want to be featured in one of our Ask Me Anything episodes that come out every Monday, you can click the link in the show notes and submit your questions there as well. Thank you so much again for being here with me. Remember, you have the right to author your own story. You never have to do it perfectly to be enough. And we're all here working one step at a time.